Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive into, well, the enigma of website traffic.
Hmm. The enigma. I like that.
Right. It's truly a mystery sometimes,
That really is.
especially when we're trying to decode how it all leads to those direct purchases,
Yeah.
particularly for e-commerce, which is what we're diving into today.
The holy grail of e-commerce,
Mhm.
direct purchases. And you know what's fascinating? It's not always the most obvious channels that really make a difference.
It's so true. We tend to get fixated on that last click before the purchase, but a customer's journey, it's rarely that straightforward.
Rarely. More like twists and turns. Think of it less like a straight line and more like, one of those crazy straw puzzles.
Yes, you're winding your way through, never quite sure how you got from point A to add to cart.
Exactly. And that's where some really interesting research out of Trinity College Dublin comes in.
Oh, I was just reading about that.
Yeah. Brand new, published just last month in Marketing Letters. These researchers, they dug deep.
Like really deep. How many purchases are we talking?
Nearly 100,000 e-commerce purchases.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's some serious data.
Oh, absolutely. They were on a mission to untangle this web, so to speak, looking for those hidden connections.
Okay, so break it down for me. What were they trying to find exactly?
Connections between different website traffic sources, think like your Google ads, email campaigns, and, well, purchases made through direct traffic.
Direct traffic being those customers who just seem to magically know your URL, like they bypassed all the marketing and ended up right at checkout.
Exactly. And the tricky part, Google Analytics, our go-to for data. It often misinterprets traffic as direct when the journey was actually anything but.
So you're saying someone might find a product on a price comparison site, for example, doesn't buy it right then, but then later types in your URL directly to buy it,
You got it. And Google Analytics would probably say, yep, that's direct traffic.
making it nearly impossible to actually know what marketing efforts are working.
It's like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with half the pieces missing. You might get the gist, but the full picture, elusive. And this is where it gets good. The researchers actually found that 3 marketing channels in particular had a surprisingly strong correlation to those direct purchases.
All right, you've piqued my interest. What were these mystery channels?
Get this, Google paid ads price comparison engines. And, this one might surprise you, email marketing.
Email marketing. Now that is interesting. I mean, you'd think with all the social media and viral videos these days, email would be, I don't know.
A bit old school.
Yeah, maybe. But you're saying these 3 were the real MVPs when it came to those direct traffic purchases.
Exactly. And get this, they accounted for a whopping 61% of the variation in direct purchases.
61%.
Yeah.
That's huge. Okay, now I really see why understanding this whole direct traffic thing is so important for e-commerce. But what's the why here? Why are these particular channels so effective, especially email?
It boils down to what I like to call the long game of marketing.
Okay, I like that, the long game.
Yeah, so let's take email, for instance. Imagine you sign up for a brand's newsletter, right? You might not be ready to buy anything right then,
Right.
but you're consistently reminded about their products, promotions, all that.
You're keeping that brand top of mind without even realizing it.
Exactly. Then, when you are ready to buy, let's say, a new pair of shoes, you might not even bother searching online. You just go directly to that brand's website.
Because you remember them, you trust them.
Yes, their emails have built that familiarity.
It's like they left a trail of breadcrumbs leading you right back to their store.
I like that, a trail of breadcrumbs.
Right. No hard sell or anything, just a little nudge.
And the researchers found a similar pattern with the Google ads and price comparison sites. People might click on an ad or compare prices, not buy anything right away.
Right.
But that interaction, it plants a seed.
It's all about building that awareness, that recognition that makes a customer choose you over someone else.
Precisely. And it shows how important it is to think long term. It's not always about the immediate sale, but building those relationships that lead to those high intent direct purchases later on.
Because those direct traffic customers, those are the real deal.
Absolutely. They know what they want, they're ready to buy.
No more window shopping for them.
And you know what's really cool about this research? They were really thorough, made sure these findings weren't just a fluke.
Oh, how so?
They used some pretty advanced statistical techniques to rule out any external factors, anything that might have skewed the results.
So we know this is legit, not just some random correlation.
Exactly. They were very rigorous, which makes their conclusions even more convincing.
I'm with you. So we've established these 3 channels. Google Ads, price comparison, and email can really impact direct purchases.
Yeah.
But for our listeners out there, The ones who are dying to boost their own sales. How can they actually use this information?
That's the million-dollar question. And the good news is this research gives us a really solid place to start. It tells us where to focus our energy for the biggest impact.
All right, so let's break it down. What are the key takeaways, the things our listeners should do right now to optimize their digital marketing?
Well, first things first, it's time to give some credit where credit's due, right?
Right. To those channels we might be, I don't know, taking for granted.
A little bit, yeah. Don't underestimate a well-crafted Google Ads campaign or a smart strategy on those price comparison sites.
And of course, email.
Exactly. Email marketing, it's still got it.
Yeah.
They're like the unsung heroes quietly bringing in those high-intent customers.
I love that analogy. Working behind the scenes, guiding those customers right to your virtual door.
Exactly. And this research really proves how important that long game is.
That long game, yeah.
It's not about getting that instant conversion.
Right.
It's about building those relationships, that familiarity, so when someone's ready to buy.
They think of you first.
Exactly. And that means thinking beyond just the click. You need valuable content, engagement on social media.
Those email newsletters we talked about, keeping your brand top of mind, it's all connected.
It really is. And speaking of connected, here's something else to remember. Don't rely solely on Google Analytics.
Oh, interesting. You're saying our trusty sidekick might not be telling the whole story.
It gives you the what, but not always the why.
Because it can only track so much.
Right. It can't tell you what's going on in the customer's head. So put your detective hat on. Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper.
Get those qualitative insights.
Yes. Customer surveys, feedback forms.
Even just talking to your customers. I mean, sometimes the best insights come from just asking, hey, how'd you hear about us?
Exactly. Connect the dots, those numbers from Google Analytics. They're important, but you need the human side of it too.
It's about understanding the whole customer journey.
And once you understand it, then you can fine-tune your approach. Personalize your message. Give people what they want when they want it.
It's all about creating that experience, that connection that keeps people coming back for more.
Absolutely. That's how you unlock the power of direct traffic.
It's not just about getting someone to your site once. It's about turning them into loyal customers.
Exactly. It's about playing the long game.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive for today. A huge thank you to our expert for these incredible insights.
It was my pleasure.
And to all you deep divers out there, thank you for joining us. Remember, the customer journey, it's a winding road. But by understanding those twists and turns, that's how you guide your customers to the destination, a purchase. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.